Looks like we're live. I trust that we are. So, welcome to the Energy Healing Lifestyle Journal Self-Care Challenge. My name is Robin Knott, and I am your host of the channel and the founder of the energyhealingschool.com. In this video, as always, I will walk you through my journaling process and share some real-life examples along the way. So hopefully you have your journal. I have mine. Journal with me, right? Don't forget, you guys, you can hit that link in the description and hop on here live and journal with me on the Zooms. Why not? Be nice to have you on here. Be a little fun, right? So how I do my journaling process, I get my mindset ready, sitting down, focusing, setting the intention to just have the space for myself, checking in with me, right? So as you're doing your journaling process, you want to try to focus on your journal to check in with you. It's okay if your to-do list pops in your mind, but try to refocus back on whatever it is you're journaling on, our journaling prompts, right? I write out self-care challenge, excuse me, just to remind myself again what day we are on. And today on Saturdays, I think of the day, in self-care, in the acronym, letter A stands for acceptance. And in my signature system of Best You, the letter O, and think about that again, is observer. So acceptance, observer, and then third eye chakra energy, because both are governed by third eye chakra. Third eye chakra also deals with inner awareness, right? So again, we want to check in with ourselves, increase our self-awareness, not picking on ourselves and blame, shame, and guilting when we realize that there's something that we do that we want to change. Just the awareness. So then writing out our journal prompt. How do you accept what is when you avoid looking within? So what came up for me first was, you don't, right? You don't really accept what is if you're avoiding. But then I separated the two. So I could avoid things within myself and still have opinions or acceptance or lack thereof of things outside of me, right? Of situations or someone else sharing something that even if I have an opinion of it, that I think it's some terrible thing, I may or may not still be able to find acceptance in that, right? In that moment, not saying forever, but in that moment. So then I can decide what I'm doing next about that, if it involves me at all. However, so we may be able to accept things outside of yourself depending on your inner beliefs and values, meaning we're not really making a conscious decision. Like we're not consciously, intentionally having acceptance over something when we have that inner avoidance, because whatever is stuck inside that we're avoiding, that's getting pushed aside, is affecting our decisions. Our beliefs and our values are there, right? Our memories are stored in our chakra system, in our energy system. So when we're met with something that may be upsetting to us, we may just get triggered by it and then we react to it. So it may be challenging then to find acceptance for certain things depending on whatever our memories are, whatever our beliefs are, whatever our values are, whatever that thing is that's been stored in there that we've been trying to avoid and not look at. Again, it's like poking that bear, if you will, and then it jumps up and it reacts to whatever the situation is, right? Part of having this acceptance, like radical acceptance, is to have that healing process, is to get to a space where we're not having that triggered emotion in that same way. Excuse me. So a memory is a memory, right? The past is the past. We can't go back and change what has happened. And forgive me for giggling, but when I use this example, when I used it in therapy, some of the feedback I had gotten, especially from certain men, and I'm not picking on them, it's just that was their thing, right? They're like, why are you talking? He said something about talking to me about boo-boos and band-aids, which still cracks me up. So if by chance you ever come across these videos and listen, I remember who you are. Hope you're doing well. And that still makes me laugh. So thank you. But anyways, back to boo-boos and band-aids. how to describe that, how I shared that was when you have trauma in your life, right? And you have that wound that we avoid and we avoid and we don't take care of it. Think of it physically for a moment. If you have a physical cut, excuse me, if you have a physical cut and you try to avoid it, like you don't clean it out, you don't take care of it, you don't cover it, you don't keep dirt out of it, you don't keep it clean for it to heal properly, you avoid it, and then it does get some dirt in there, and then it starts to get infected, then it hurts more, right? So any little thing that touches it or comes close to it, you're going to have a reaction. Like, ew, don't touch it, right? Or ouch, that's really intense and it hurts, and you just react to it. However, when you are willing to finally address it and look at it and clean it out, clear it out, sometimes it hurts even more in that moment, right? If you've ever had something physical that got infected, it hurts more when it gets to that point. However, it doesn't take typically too long after you're cleaning out that wound for it to heal, right? Then once it's healed and you're left with the scar, you still have the memory, like the thing still happened, whatever created and caused the wound, it still happened. It's still there. You're still aware. You still know that. You can still see it. There's still evidence of it, but it doesn't hurt nearly as bad, right? So I'm looking at my hand because I have an old scar there. I can poke and prod it all I want to now, and it doesn't hurt anymore, right? It doesn't hurt like it did when I first cut it. It doesn't hurt like it would have if it gotten infected. Luckily, that one did not. But right, you hear what I'm saying? Like that avoidance gets in the way of our perception. So even then going on to observer, as I talked about in the acronym of BEST You, which is part of my, what I call a signature system, meaning the system that I use in healing when I'm bringing all the things together. Being that observer, you can't observe beyond the void of avoidance, right? It's like avoidance. You're putting a wall up because you don't want to see it. You don't want to look at it. You don't want to pay attention to it. You don't want to take care of it. You don't want to address it. You don't want to be bothered by it, right? You can't, you can't observe it then because you're blocking it with avoidance. You may be able to you may be able to observe yourself as you're avoiding, right? That's part of it, that self-awareness. Starting to say like, oh, right? You can kind of see what you do or those signs. What are the patterns that you do? What are the things that you do? What are the things you say to yourself? What are the actions that you take? How do you notice when you are avoiding? What do you do that says, oh, I'm avoiding something? Do you know what those are? Because that's a massive awareness when you get to that point, when you can observe that, right? Before you even have to delve into anything, when you can observe yourself and realize when you're avoiding something, that's really cool. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me check my journal and see what else. So avoidance also blocks, excuse me, affects, creates that wonkiness, right? In the third eye chakra energy as well. If I'm having a human reaction to a wound, right? Sometimes that can feel very similar to those nudges of our intuition. You know, when you get that gut feeling like, something doesn't feel right about a situation. Sometimes it's challenging when you're avoiding something within yourself to be able to notice a difference between intuition telling you, hey, either something amazing is coming, because like I've shared before, excitement and anxiety feels the same in my body. So to be able to tell the difference, I need to not avoid me, right? I need to get to know me more. I need to continuously, through this journaling process and the healing process, increase my self-awareness. We have layers upon layers, right? And sometimes we avoid things that's become such a habit that we may not even realize it just yet that we're avoiding it. It's possible. And that's okay. That's why there's no blame, shame, and guilt. We just continue to do this, right? We continue to take care of ourselves. We continue to check in with ourselves. We continue to journal it out, allow what comes up needs to come up, expand our perspective a little bit, asking more questions, that why, right? My why shovel, if you will, to dig. Why do I do that? Why am I focusing on this instead? Why is it that every time, why is it, and in quotes, every time, why is it that every time this happens, I react this way, right? Am I avoiding something? And then sitting with that to see what might come up. What am I avoiding? What can I take care of? When I'm not sure, I don't even want to say it that way because sometimes we think we're really sure and then we find out we're not. When something might be a triggered reaction versus intuition. But I'll just leave that up to you, right? Because that's for each of us. Again, this journaling process is also very personalized. So hopefully that conversation, some of those questions, just open doors, open windows, allow you to expand your perspective and your thoughts and just get, allow you to get to know you even more, right? Because don't forget, there's sometimes we don't feel like we really know who we are. Right? I have shared before that I felt like a chameleon for a long time, or when people would ask me, like, so what do you like to do? And I was stunted. Like, I don't know. I'm waiting for you to tell me. What do you like? Right? What do you like? I like whatever you like. Didn't know what I liked. Too busy focusing on everybody else. Hence the Be You challenge, right? So if you've experienced that as well, or if you find that you still get sucked into other people, other people's energy, other people's just life circumstances and situations, and you feel like you lose yourself. I mean, of course, we don't literally lose ourselves, but it feels that way. Shifted the focus away from ourselves enough, right? Again, the Be You challenge is still in launch mode, but if you would like to get it at half off while it's in launch mode, check the description for that as well. So the energyhealingschool.com, all of that information is in the description for you, but I'm just sharing it with you. The energyhealingschool.com, the Be You challenge, it's a 5-day challenge to break patterns of codependency, which avoidance is one of those, right? So what I'm sharing on here oftentimes is related to, whether directly or indirectly in some ways, oftentimes with codependency, but we don't need to get hung up on that particular term. It's just a way that we can explore and get to understand ourselves a little bit more and what those patterns are, right? Doesn't really matter what they're called, as long as we're aware of whatever patterns they are that we have that we're repeating, that we want to break and get rid of. And that's what we intend to do, right? So anyways, the coupon code is in the description as well, which is the word pre-launch. So go ahead and grab that half off. January is the month. Looking forward to that so much. I don't have an exact date yet, but as we continue on the journaling process and I get closer to the date, I will start to share that for you. What else? Oh, speaking of wonky energy, what is it like when your third eye chakra energy is wonky? You may experience headaches, have blurred vision, sinus issues, depression, anxiety, confusion, fear, right? So higher vibrational energy in the third eye chakra when you're not avoiding yourself, when you are expansive and you're grounded within yourself and you're just open and you're in that flow and you're connected and aware of your intuition, like you know what's different. You have more of a faith in your movements in your day to day, right? Because you know that you're being guided, from the source of unconditional love. So when you know you're being guided by the source of unconditional love and you're able to tap in and you're connected and you're moving with it, what's there to fear, right? It's like not even confidence isn't even the word. It has nothing to do with confidence. It has to do with that faith. So you're so connected and strengthened in your faith that you're moving with your intuition as your guide through the source of unconditional love. You feel that energy? There's no confusion in that. There's no fear in that. What would you be afraid of? Absolutely nothing, right? It's when the energy starts getting wonky or weighted down, so to speak, right, from these blocks from avoidance from human life, because we are still having a human experience and we're normalizing that. It's okay. You did nothing wrong by having a human experience. We're just staying aware, right? Keep our energy clear. But that's just, again, making that connection. And that's how we can become aware that the energy in the third eye chakra is wonky, Are we noticing fear? Are we questioning ourselves, our decisions that we're making, having that confusion, noticing that avoidance, feeling lonely, feeling like we have a lack of purpose, right? Lots of things there. So it's just a couple of ways that we can support the energy in the third eye chakra. If you do energy healing, of course, it's amazing, like Reiki, right? Using Reiki and solfeggio frequencies. The solfeggio frequency that resonates with the third eye chakra is 852 hertz. You can also do some sun gazing carefully. Don't hurt your eyes, right? And light. I don't like just closing my eyes in the sun. We haven't had much sun in Ohio these past few days. We're on that weird schedule where we have like cloudy, gloomy, rainy grossness for a week, and then we might get a day of sun, and then we have another week of cloudy, rainy, gloomy grossness. Can't wait for that to pass us by. But when you can, if not, just turn your lights on even. Just brighten up the room, right? Close your eyes, put your face up to the light and just absorb it. Just imagine it. Even just imagining white light pouring down over you and through you from the universe, right? That pure unconditional love. Visualizing imagination is powerful as well. Don't forget. So again, I invite you to drop in the comments. Let me know how the journaling process is going for you. Click the link. Come on Zoom with me. We'll have some fun. I will see you back here tomorrow for Crown Chakra Energy, and we'll talk more about receiving unconditional love. So I hope you have a wonderful day, evening.